Hey guys, it's Friday on the second of our 2 weeks of subs. The regulars are back next week, but enjoy our videos this week on intuition and divination. So I actually have an assistant who has my question for me. This is Lorelei, guys. Say hi. She has her own channel, MissMishiKitty, so I will post stuff below. You can go check that out. She is awesome and amazing. But I thought she'd come and join me this week, and she's going to read our question for us. Then we're going to give you some info.
How do you use your intuition in your divination? Such as in runes or tarot, each card/rune has their own meaning, but how do you use your intuition and the meaning of them to put it all together? How do you do that, Brendan?
Well, pretty much one of the best things I ever got taught by a friend was you should learn the whole entire book of meanings. Pretty much once you've done that, throw it out and trust your gut. So once you know kind of a backstory, or even just going through and looking at all the pictures and understanding the symbology there, you can understand the messages a lot easier for yourself and use it that way. And then it's more your personal experience and intuition that kind of creates your readings for you there. How about you?
How about me? I've never memorized an entire tarot booklet, or even memorized all the cards. I have a vague knowledge of the numerology and the symbology, but mostly I'll sort of do a reading, and often it's just 3 cards, and the meaning of the 3 cards can differ depending on circumstance, and then I'll look up the booklet meaning and maybe use that to form a kind of skeleton, and then just sort of lose myself in the card's imagery and see what kind of story emerges based on the person I'm reading for or the situation.
So do you find you use your book a lot during your readings, or not really?
Sometimes. It depends on the situation, I guess.
So, like situations where you need to clarify something, that might be like a card that you might not be too familiar with, or...
Yeah, pretty much. If it's a card and just the appearance of it is just sort of vague and there's nothing really going on in my head.
Yeah.
To sort of look at the artist's interpretation of that card, which of course is different for each different card in each different deck, even if they're the same card. And then, I'll just let that sort of inform the basis of a meaning, or I'll just look at the card and see what kind of vibe I get off it, basically.
Yeah, that's pretty cool. So yeah, based on what we've kind of discussed, and what's been discussed during the week, I know that it was brought up earlier about personal interpretations, so in reference to certain markers within cards. So I think it was mentioned possibly Tuesday, talking about how a dog for one person could be a lovable, loyal creature, where another one can be associated with fear. I think that works a lot with cards as well. For me, a personal one that always you'll find kind of negative reactions will be the death card. So a lot of people will associate that with death. And it's kind of the literal translations there, where based in reading it could be about a new beginning, a new transition. It could be the relationship ending if you're doing perhaps a love reading. But it's kind of, like Lorelei was saying, it's very much down to the placement of cards within readings and the context based on what the reading itself is for. I'm not too familiar with runes, but I believe it would probably be the same with that as well. But there's so many different ways to read them, different layouts to do that. Same with tarot and oracle cards, like your Celtic Cross, your 3-card past, present, future readings. Then you've got your own personal ones. I tend to do more intuitively inspired ones. So I'll be like, okay, this is the whole jumble of everything I'm going to put out. Do you tend to use any particular reading setup, like any layout?
I've experimented with layouts before and just found them to be cumbersome more than anything, trying to adapt my own sense of intuition to someone else's method of card reading. My general preference is just 3 cards. Sometimes it's past, present, future. Sometimes it's just 3 cards and all are equal, and I just let the relationship between those cards kind of weave its own story, essentially.
Well, that was what you said there as well about the story. That's always something important as well. If you are doing readings, it's looking at the cards individually, but also looking how they relate to each other, because there's usually a story thread that you'll find that goes through there. So it's trying to find that story thread and following the path and the message that's put through there. And just knowing there's sometimes you'll find the fork sections in a reading, so there'll be 2 possible outcomes, or there might be more. And not being afraid to draw extra cards for clarity if you're a bit worried, or you're just not getting, like you were saying earlier, sometimes you just get maybe perhaps a vague reading and you need to consult the book, maybe even an extra card might help there. But yeah, I think that's kind of a lot to do with this stuff. It's about knowing what the cards are, but it's also just generally having an understanding of maybe symbology to you, what they mean. Identifying symbology during cards and actual layouts, because sometimes you'll find patterns are formed if you do a particular reading. And just associations, numerology, like you mentioned as well. Color associations can come up as well. It might be moods that you're attracted to that will remind you of certain situations. You might have a reading where if you're perhaps clairsentient, you might get a smell that comes up that reminds you of certain things. So maybe like jasmine might come up, which reminds you of springtime, or it might be like home cookies or something like that, that kind of, it's a childhood memory or a comfort memory. So it's kind of being aware about not just the cards that's in front of you or the runes that are in front of you, but also what the person's giving off to you. So there may be a certain amount of energy that they're giving off. Any messages that may be coming from higher beings, high places, maybe ancestors, maybe guides. Then it's also communing with your deck, so building and forming a relationship with that, so understanding what it's trying to give you as well. And then just kind of rounding it all up and finding the story and giving the reading. That's pretty much it. So we just kind of figured I might give Lorelei a little quick flash reading at the end of this, and then that would be pretty much it. So I will get you to shuffle and draw however many cards you want. But I read with the Fae Tarot as well, which I'm pretty sure Arinda, I'm sorry if I pronounced your name wrong, on Tuesday reads with as well. So one of the reasons I actually found her channel was I was searching my deck on YouTube and found it there. But I kind of like it. It communes with, easy to commune with, and I understand the symbols a lot. And bright, wonderful colours. So I'll get you to cut it. And then top, bottom, or middle?
Middle.
However many.
Am I drawing from here?
Yep.
Oh, however many?
Yep. Okay. So let's see what we got. So, the cards we have. So your 7 of Swords. I'm pretty sure that's the 9 of Pentacles. That is the Knight of Wands. And the 6 of Chalices.
It's very well-rounded elementally.
I was about to say, yeah. So we got a good split. We got one from each Minor Arcana court. So your Wands, Swords, Pentacles, and Chalices. Which is very good for balance as well. So it's a good sort of reading here. Let's have a look. So, put them back into right order. So based on the image here, as you can see that's the swords there, it's very much about being prepared and also being invisible. So kind of being with that, it's being about in a situation understanding and knowing when it's time to be concealed and being prepared. So being kind of ready for war, but always kind of vigilant.
I don't have a sword or anything on me at the moment.
There's multiple swords over there. There's a sword there. We have props.
Oh my goodness.
Props. Amazing props. And then in relation to the next card being the 9 of Pentacles, which I find very much is about kind of being joyous and not taking yourself overly too serious. having a bit of fun and just enjoying life generally, and being in a situation where you're comfortable and like financially comfortable and secure, but being able to use what you have to enjoy yourself and have fun, because that's really important. It's all well and good being this cranky old rich person, but joy and happiness doesn't really get you anywhere. Wait, joy and happiness gets you everywhere. Being rich doesn't get you everywhere. Which in relation to the next card, which is the Knight of Wands there, which is, I find, is about freedom. So it's being able to release yourself from thoughts and kind of exploring, and it's that thrill of adventure, taking off.
Can't really act that out here.
You could flap. But yeah, it's that thrill of kind of leaving the grounded area and just exploring, really. And then lucky last is the Six of Chalices, which is going through and assessing your emotional wealth and looking what parts of your emotions and environment are going to be successful and fruitful for you. So for this transitional period, like we're going into spring right now, from being winter, which we don't really get much seasons here. It's kind of all the same. Temperatures drop like maybe 1 or 2 degrees. But it's being ready for spring and finding out what's the fertile options that are coming up. So what's worth putting your energy into so that it will grow and reach fruition, and yeah, finding that and just planting those seeds and watching the crop grow.
I noticed that card also has an infinite field of colored eggs. That symbol is pretty easy.
Yeah.
I would think.
That's lots of fertility. But it's lots of options, so it's finding which ones are viable and which ones... Yeah, it's the good eggs and the rotten eggs, because you don't want a rotten egg. Not great. But based on the overall sort of reading, there again, it's very much... It's a time of kind of going through strength, assessing your strength, and getting to a point where mentally and emotionally you're ready and prepared, and just not taking yourself too serious, and enjoying a moment of being able to release yourself and be free and not be so tied to grounding aspects, and kind of let your mind wander and be creative, and yeah, enjoy the upcoming transitions into springtime that's coming up, and the scents that are coming out, the returning animals, all the birds that come out, all the colours return, and yeah.
So I'm pretty much going to run naked in a clover field and then paint a picture.
Yes.
Yay.
Absolutely. But yeah, so guys, that's pretty much it. You won't see me again on here till the end of next month.
You won't see me ever.
If you go to her channel, you will see her, and I'll...
Briefly. There's like 2 videos there.
There's 2 videos. Go watch them. Get her to make more. Post on her wall. But yeah, you guys will see the regulars back next week. We're kicking off the 3rd year of Pagan Perspective. And yeah, I will see you guys, unless you come visit my personal channel, I will see you guys at the end of next month with whatever the topic is for Subs Week. So, much love and blessings. Do you want to say anything? I love you, Pagan Perspective! And that's it, guys. So, have a good rest of the week. Check out all the videos, and I will see you soon. Bye!